And we're back with more Everlasting Summer. So let's see how much more bizarre Miku's route's gonna get. Because the Sasha name for Slavia kind of threw me off the last time, and a few other things. But obviously, since I'm kind of new to this, I'll have to see where it's gonna go. So I was sitting in the bus, flipping through the script lazily. So which idiot wrote this? Oh yeah, that would be me. I put aside the stack of sloppily stapled printed pages and fixed my sight outside the window. Indeed, it was really hot. Even without shirt being Captain Obvious, it was hot. Let's take the asphalt for example. It doesn't give a damn that just yesterday it was winter according to the script. It has to be melting right here and now. So they make mention something about a script, so maybe they're just acting something, I'm not really sure. But it's kind of throwing me off a little bit because it went from the shirt thing all of a sudden. It's like feels like a completely different game and a different story. I don't know if I'm being honest. But obviously it's the same games because I've been doing the VN this whole time. But they did mention how Miku is a special route, so maybe that's why it's a little different too, though. So I don't know. It's interesting so far, though. The grasshoppers don't care. They just keep rehearsing. By the way, which of them do the chirping? Is it the crickets or the grasshoppers or cicadas? Nah, those screech. Damn, I don't even have any internet handy for a quick check. Though, why would I? The script is all agreed on and approved and can't be edited at all. And anyway, who would care about the grasshoppers in our movie? Although it would be a splendid idea for shooting a horror flick in the spirit of 50s US B movies. Like, for example, My Cousin is a Grasshopper or The Cricket Day, One Flew Over the Cicada's Nest. If I have to spend 5 more minutes here, I'm going to turn into an insect myself. Oh, why were there no air conditioners in old Soviet buses? Hey, hello, anyone home? A loudspeaker was pointed at me, and right behind it, I recognized the face of Olga through the melting air. Me. Please leave your message after the... I felt a blow. Me. Hey, you can't just smack the protagonist like that. Have you ever read my tour rider? Shut up. This has to be the last bus and kite in the bus. I wanted this pretty bad myself, after all. And it's better to be outside than stuck in this bleeding man melting. Shurik's camera was hanging over me. I acted as if I was really desperate about what's going on. Raged across the bus, dashed outside, ran all around it, and finally collapsed down on the sidewalk. Cut. Olga smiled approvingly. No, seems like you're able to go when you really want to. Sure, it seems that will is the most important thing. And now, meeting Slavia. A break, maybe. Slavia? That's electronic. Ryder prayed. We aren't here for a vacation. Off you go to your camera. He hung his head and shuffled off to his place. Action. I stared at the camp gates. I held my gaze on the statues of the pioneers and took a few steps forward. Sasha emerged from behind the gates, and again with that name. I have to kind of get used to this. It's throwing me off. It's like, oh. Hi, Semyon-kun. My name is Semyon Slavia. Yoshihiki, ne? Did I pronounce that right? Yorshiku Day? Okay. Whatever there. Stunned silence descended upon the set. I'm not the best at pronouncing Japanese words. Some I can do okay, but some I can't. It seemed like even the grasshoppers suddenly stopped their song and looked up at Sasha with fascination. Unless if that's a different word. I have no idea. I have just one question for you. The dreadfully calm voice of Olga reached us from behind me. Have you even read the script? Sure I did, but it's so boring. It was pointless to cry. Swear going to her stick. We couldn't find another actress here. Yeah, I'm only 3 weeks in this town than you. She sat down on the director's chair and began to fan herself with her Panama hat. Guys, don't you get it that we won't make it in time if we keep strolling around like this? We still have lots of stuff to shoot. Could you get it at least a little more serious? It's like I'm the only one who cares. A stick certainly won't work with Sasha, so maybe we should try a carrot instead. I'm sorry. I'll try again. You better. I tried hard to imagine the protagonist surveying the unknown environment as millions of theories fly around his head. He's shocked. He doesn't know what to think of it at all. His brain's ready to explode. His consciousness starts to wander. And there you go. A girl, your average pioneer, appears, and she has not the slightest idea of what's happening to him. I'm still trying to figure out what's going on. It's like, okay, so we get some type of acting. I just want to know where the plot went to. It's like, I don't know. Not really sure what to think, but it's interesting here. Just feels like everything just kind of changed. Like we went from like where we went to, and then all of a sudden it's like I don't know. The game just kind of said, you know what? We have something else in mind here. Uh, I don't know. Because I'm not really sure where it came to, them decided to shoot some type of film or movie here. It's like, but it's kind of interesting. She just greets the protagonist and sends him to the camp leader. I took a few steps forward and Sasha appeared from behind the gates. You must be new here. Me? I caught sight of the lens of the camera, pointed at me from out of the corner of my eye, and tried hard to make a really surprised face. And so, you need to go to our camp leader. So you could do it, if you really want to. Olga wiped the sweat from her forehead. I'm gonna turn gray before my time with all these flipperies of yours. And we still have to do the editing. She checked her watch. Okay, let's call it a day. I'd hardly call myself a workaholic, but even I felt that it's way too early to stop, given we're already falling behind, badly behind schedule. Don't you think that? I do, but I feel absolutely done. As you wish. I shrugged and headed into the camp. Evening was closing in. Okay. So we got Miku, Slavia, and Alyssa in this scene. How's this gonna go? Like I said, I'm not used to seeing Miku interacting with a bunch of people, so it's a little different here. Tonight I was dining with Masha, Sasha, and Alyssa. There was a huge bowl full of fried potato slices with mushrooms right in front of me. It would be a little bit easier if they just called me Semyon as opposed to just saying me, because that part is probably what the most part is kind of throwing me off a little bit. It's like, it's a dialogue that's coming from whoever I'm reading from. It's like, I don't know, just saying that, it's like when it pops up, it's like, here, it's me. Who's me? It's like, are you Semyon or are you somebody else entirely? Let me know who you are. I don't know. Only on occasion they actually said Semyon, so it's kind of interesting. But it's the way he's interacted with these girls is a little different from, I don't know, it's interesting here. Feels like a completely different person just jumped in Semyon's body and said, you know what, you're going to do something different than you've been making this person do all this time. Or did, Miku put a spell on and somehow just everything back there, we went by ourselves and then, looking for sure. And it turned out to be, it's like, okay, when we emerge, we are a completely different person. Would that be something, It's like, what if they, like, yeah, I don't know if y'all ever saw, trying to think of what movie it is, where a person switched bodies with one another. Or, like, one person was, they were one person at one time, but then all of a sudden, like, one person jumped in the other person's mind and the other person did the same. And it's like they didn't realize they were changed until it dawned on them. There's also been a few animes like that too, where like the protagonist and a girl, like I forget what anime it is. It's like something happened and all of a sudden like he became her and she became him. It's like and it all came from like some type of kiss. It was interesting. One of the perks of summer, fresh vegetables from the garden. If I could think of the anime, I'll probably let some of y'all know. You better show that much effort during filming. Oh, you seem to prefer instant noodles over this. What are you talking about? Sasha is a great chef, mumbled Alyssa. Alright, you still seem to be the same. Did anyone ever tell you that it's impolite to talk with your mouth full? And you're always complaining. I am. Sasha was about to burst into tears. Oh lord. Come on, chill out. Everything's delicious. Yeah, Mashinyan. You want me to make something? Masha gave her a dirty look that it became obvious even to Sasha that she should continue. I don't know. It's like, calling her Sasha is just, I don't know, just interesting. It's like, I don't know. This scene is kind of amusing a little bit. But anyway, just tell me honestly. I won't. But you don't even know what I'm about to ask you. I know. So what's it gonna be? And he stared at me with a triumphant look. Why did I come up with such a rubbish script? Damn. Alyssa and Sasha laughed. These two interacting with each other just seems out of left field. You guys tell me if you guys agree. It's like Sasha and Slavia in the same room. I don't know. How's that go? It's like Miku even being in the scene, like I said, it's like oh, it's just interesting though. I see that you're both okay with it. Because you never notice that you start the game off, she's not in the lineup whenever Olga calls everybody out there to get in the lineup. She's the only one that's never in the group. So it's kind of like, all of a sudden, now that I'm doing her route, it's like, all of a sudden, everybody's just kind of friendly with her. It's like, it's interesting. What's the matter? It's summer. We're surrounded by nature. There's a beach here. Everything looks great. You might as well visit Turkey. Why did you come here? Alyssa glanced at Masha blankly and started to dig into her plate. So, she pointed her fork at me. But I'm liking this, so like I said, it's just the way that I'm gauging it. It's a little bit, I'm trying to, like, you ever read something, it's kind of like, all of a sudden you feel like the story kind of switched on you, even though it kind of didn't. Maybe it's just kind of the way I'm just kind of, I don't know, going into this, a little bit. Fear not, the fork but the spoon. One blow and your skin is doomed. Now you tell me, is he even normal? Semyon-kun is kawaii. Semyon. So, okay, so we got Semyon here. Kun. You're not Japanese there. Good lord. So, it's like, I'm trying to figure out if they're acting or it's just something else here. It's like, that's the part that I'm trying to still kind of piece together, Sasha hugged my arm and nodded vigorously. What's the matter? Anyway, he just got us a free vacation. I don't understand what I'm even doing here. Well, it's not like anyone's holding you here, I said coldly. Oh, if only what I wanted mattered. And you, what are you doing all this time? You just kept nagging others, and yet there's still a lot of time before your appearance according to the script. You must be prepared for the role, eh? I interrupted her. Oh, maybe I am preparing. But then again, maybe Slavia has another name besides, Slavia. I don't know. But that's kind of different if, they called her Sasha and someone else's route. We didn't even get another name from her. I don't know. double standards. Triple, damn it. So what are you doing, for real? Wow, what would you expect me to do? Me? Nothing, just curious. Reading books, she answered timidly. And every book about how to master acting. Stop it, okay? We're sitting out here, God knows where. No internet, no phone signal, nothing at all. If I hadn't brought the mosquito repellent with me. I brought it, yeah. Masha gave her such a look that Sasha suddenly started to take up much space than usual. What's with the puppy dog eyes you keep doing, though? You keep making this sad face as if you want somebody to give you a pat on the back or something, like give you a hug type thing. I don't know. Every time I see her do this kind of look, it's like, it's okay. It'll be alright. Yeah. That's what it reminds me of. I don't know why. Those blue eyes just get you. It's like, she's just standing there. It's like, oh, please don't do that. It'll be all. I'll give you a hug. Just don't make this face anymore. I just don't get you. What's the point of complaining all the time? You could have stayed home. Didn't I even ask you? Masha got up abruptly and headed for the exit. Masha is upset, said Sasha in a distressed tone. If she got upset just now, then wait until you see what she's gonna be like towards the end of the shooting. The Pioneer Chainsaw Massacre with a Duzba. Duzba is both friendship in Russian and unfortunately a well-known brand of chainsaws. Really. And is it pronounced as Druzba? I don't know. Cause like I said, I don't have the Russian accent to try to pronounce a word, and even just trying to say the word in English the way I'm doing it's probably not right. I don't know. Curiously enough, I really couldn't comprehend why Masha keeps freaking out. Sure, since the very beginning, she had no real enthusiasm for either the script or the whole idea of shooting our movie in a godforsaken pioneer camp. But still, she wasn't that aggressive. Maybe it's the heat that's to blame. Or the grasshoppers. Sure, that's it, grasshoppers. They're giving us hell instead of a good sleep. Okay? I wish we just had a button to release some sort of a poisonous gas and presto. What are you thinking about? About the grasshoppers. What's wrong with them? Might as well ask what's right with them. Grasshoppers, they're not near. Why? Well, they're so scary. You just don't like insects in general? No. Me neither. A heavy silence fell. No matter what's going on in Masha's head, at least she could always keep the conversation going. Even if it's about the grasshoppers. Not really sure what that's about, but okay. I imagine her talking about her hatred towards these hellish creatures who dare not only to plague this already imperfect world, but also keep chirping all night long, this time interrupting your inner rested gentle soul. Why are we talking about grasshoppers anyway? Olga approached our table. Ready for the night shooting. Night shooting? It's not like we've even completed the first siege yet. And you also mentioned that we are done for today. We have to make maximum use of the time, or else we won't make it at all. I could say that I was completely dead tired. Besides, I had to show at least a spark of commitment to the success of my own project. Alright, what are we shooting? The night scene with Slavia in the woods. Yeah. Sasha heard that we were discussing her character and jumped in. Just please. If they're doing like a character, I think it would be appropriate to say, hey Slavia, you're playing this part. Like, I'd appreciate it if I would still see the other name as opposed to, because then I could tell it's like, okay, are you actually talking to this person or is it something else? Because like, I don't know, saying this name and when I know her of a different name, it's like, it keeps throwing me off a little bit. So it's like, It's like I'm getting to know a different character. It's like, what happened? I don't know. Began Olga in a strained voice. Stick to the script this time. Uh, Waka Rimashita? I have no idea. And stop that already. She gritted her teeth, turned around and left us. What's that saying about? I bet you read the script at all? Of course I haven't, said Alyssa proudly. I'm more than okay with just reading the sayings where I appear. I wasn't going to trouble her with meaningless talk about the necessity of getting the whole picture before you understand one's character. I'm watching Slavia dance by the side of the lake in the woods. Yeah, it's so romantic. And she strips down and process. What? Wow, I wouldn't complain about that, but I don't see that going on here. Yeah. Wow, not exactly the reaction I was. She's like, I'm not doing that. Well, don't tease me then. Don't tempt me with lines like this in the game, and I don't get this reaction. I don't know. You might stir something up in me a little. I don't know. I'm just kidding. Sasha stared at me with a look of incomprehension. The meaning of my words dawned on her after several moments. Strips? Relax, not completely. Well, if it's gonna be you. Wow. I mean, am I on Miku's route or am I on you? It's like, what's going on here? If it's gonna be you. Good Lord, she blushed. Yeah, I see that. Sure, seems like this girl has not only been watching too much anime recently, but also is not the smartest one by birth. I'm pretty sure she is. That's why did Olga cast the characters like this? Who knows? As for me, I'd rather cast Masha to play Slavia and Sasha as Miku. No. That wouldn't work. Unless if you take Slavia's blonde hair and put it on Miku, it would still be Miku. Because her hair is designed a certain way. Slavia's is different. I don't know. It's like, I don't know. I mean, I can only imagine if you reverse roles here. They both do have some lengthy hair, so it could be done. But their faces kind of wouldn't really work too well. I don't know. But they're the only two that you could do that with. By any chance, we'll be there at that. Whoa. Sasha gave Alyssa a blank stare. No. What do you mean, nothing at all? Not in this scene. So you will be doing that later. Alyssa showed off a sharp grin. If it sparks your curiosity so much, you should go and read the script already. Nah, I'm not curious at all. Alyssa got up from the table. Okay, I'll be going. What was it all about? What is that? It's nothing. Go get yourself ready. The sun's already setting. Yeah. This word again. It's like, I don't know, man. Sasha got up and dashed to the exit. I finished my plate of potatoes and gave a heavy sigh. Well, at this rate, we won't manage to shoot even half a movie. At this point, I'm going to keep hearing the word "nya" in my head. It's like, that word's going to be one of those, it's like, what's going on? Parts, you know? I guess we could just put "to be continued" at the end. And turn everything into an epic saga created by the students of a third-rate local cinema and television college. Suddenly, I understood that. Really, I don't care anymore. Ready. I turned back and caught a sight of Shuri. It's not like I have anything to prepare. Do you think you can manage these night shootings? Oh, somehow. Let's get going then. Okay. It's finally become colder in the evenings. I see. Too cold, I'd say. I was sitting on a stump and trying to keep myself warm in my thin top, while others were aligning cameras and lights. Why would I be doing all this stuff anyway? It's not like I even have a part in this scene. Masha was setting up a light reflector cloth between the trees. Who else? You're always short on manpower. Well, you could bring on more people for this. Everyone would be happy to participate in the production of such a masterpiece. Are you complaining about something? Olga gave her a menacing look. Not at all. I'm fine. Our director was probably the only person here that Masha hesitated to argue with. I wonder why. Shurik sat down next to me. What do you think? Any chance we'll get it in only 2 or 3 takes? I have no idea. It's not like it depends on me. I nodded towards Sasha. She was jumping up and down energetically by the lakeside, warming up for her role. Oh, I see. Shurik heaved a doomed sigh and headed to his camera. Alright, it's time. I hid myself behind a tree. Camera, action. Huh. Wow. This is a familiar scene. Long time ago. Well, I wouldn't say it's long ago. Like, early part when I started doing this game. Sasha walked past me, almost dancing. Wow, it looks like a familiar scene to me. Uh, you know, I couldn't help noticing that given all this extra lighting combined with the moonlight, she looked plain stupid. I will say though, while it's supposed to be Miku's route, it does feel like it seems like they're kind of throwing people in here. It's like it feels a little different than what I'm used to because usually when I focus on somebody, that person's usually who I'm focusing on. But here it's kind of like, you're getting Miku, but it's like you have a few others that's kind of in the scene, and I don't know. It seems like the scene's kind of like putting some focus in on a little bit with Sasha here. I mean, now I'm calling her that. It's like Slavia, I should say. It's like as opposed to the other way around, but maybe it's the way I'm looking at it too. I don't know. Then you had Alyssa in the scene, which was that really threw me off because I'm not used to her being around these two. Well, especially not Miku because Slavia in general, it's like they're complete opposites. So it's like I don't know. It was different. But that's the cameraman's concern anyway. It's probably for the best. I slowly emerged from behind the tree and followed her. Sasha went slowly along the shoreline, almost hovering above the ground, taking off her neckerchief and unbuttoning her shirt on the way. Can I see? In fact, it actually looked amazing. I bet she could have been a great actress of the silent cinema. Obviously, but I don't have that version. This isn't the 18 version, so you guys won't be able to see any cleavage going on here. So, oh well. Won't get to see any boobage. I don't know. Soon enough, Sasha disappeared into the woods. I took a few moments to space out at the shoreline and then started to follow her. Cut. Sasha immediately dashed back from behind the trees. So, how is it? Excellent, perfect. If only you could perform like this every time. On the first take, then we would have it all finished in time. You're saying it like we're not going to make it on time. I noticed skeptically. We'll make it, you bet. Ahem, what do you mean? That's all. Masha suddenly appeared next to me as if out of nowhere. You wanted something else? We spent like 3 hours of preparation for only 1 minute of footage? It's cinema. Cinema, art. One could be hunting a single shot for years. One could keep shooting a 5-minute movie for decades. Olga looked particularly funny, waving her arms like that. Arms down by her side? Okay. Sure, mumbled Sasha in a wasted voice. That's it. Yeah, that's it for tonight. Then good night, everyone. She threw that piece of reflector cloth to the ground and hastened off towards the camp. I quickly mumbled my goodbyes to everyone, grabbed a script printout, and rushed after her. Hey, I wasn't at the square that I caught up with her. Oh, now what do you want? Look of extreme fatigue was on Masha's face. Maybe. Maybe you want to take a short walk before you head off to sleep. Why would I? She glanced at me, apparently misunderstanding me. So, apparently, Subabide says that this is kind of a seductive look or suggestive pose or something. I'm not really sure. I guess if that's what you want to call that, it's like I don't know. I looks more like I mean it's a different look than what I thought of originally, but maybe it is. Maybe it's kind of like what I'm giving you the wink eye. It's like a hint is telling you that let's get it on. Maybe that is what that is. Who knows? Uh, different facial expressions. I always say is like there's different ones. Well, it's still so early. I bet you wouldn't even think of going to sleep at this time in the city. In the city? This isn't the city here. Here, 3 days count for one. Oh, come on, it's still early. Oh, fine. She gave me a bright look and smiled. Just not for too long. Ma'am? Yes, ma'am. Why do you carry that all the time? She pointed at the stack of paper I held in my hands. Well, you never know what might happen. Shortly thereafter, we arrived at the beach. Okay, well, what a lovely moon. Huh. Sasha started to strip and dashed off towards the river. Ah, why can't we see this? I don't know what I was expecting because she had a bikini on under that pioneer uniform of hers. I don't care what she was wearing. I want to see. Fascinated, I stared as she paddled her legs in the water, which caused ripples to splash around her. So you're still able to have fun, I shouted. Whoa, well, okay, I'll take it. She threw me an offended look, came closer, and sat down next to me. Yeah, it's like recently, you all think that I'm just an old hag. Maybe, what I'm thinking is because after the last choice that I made, maybe they did a slight little bit of forwarding on the game, a little bit. So, by a day, maybe they skipped like day 5 because I did recall, if I didn't mention beforehand how there were no choices after day 4 with Miku, as far as I've seen anyway. Uh, Once we went alone, got to day 4 though. Um, that pretty much was it. So and every time I load, since I've loaded the game up a few times now, it mentions about an epilogue. So an epilogue is usually when you get towards the end of somebody's route. What I've seen so far, anyway. Because the other ones, that's usually what's the case, or the start of somebody's route, and then you get, you play a little bit till he goes home, and then you get the ending. So this is playing out a little bit differently than the way that it kind of went into. It's like, but I'm kind of liking this though a little bit. It's just a little different the way that everyone's kind of interacting with her. I guess I'm just kind of not used to her like interacting with everyone. Like I don't know, cause like where was she the first 3 days? Like she only showed up periodically here or there with everybody else. Then all of a sudden, it's like everybody's just kind of like it's like everybody just knew her. I don't know. Of course you're not, but you're still one hell of a moaner. What? Um, I don't know about that word, that line there. Do I know there's just some sex going on here that I don't know of? I'd like to know. I don't know, but maybe it was the way I read that line, but still, I don't know. I guess I have my reasons. Not sure, I don't see any particular ones. Masha got up and moved several feet away from me. Oh, come on. Don't come near me. It's just, one can't be such a what? You never see anything. She put her head down on her knees and added quietly. And you never understand. Yeah, that's me. Cold-hearted, dumb, and dull. I think the other thing that's kind of throwing me off a little bit is the way that Simeon's never questioning why he's in this world, because it's kind of like, he's usually like, even when he's around other people, when he's thinking, he constantly brings up the fact, oh, well, okay, if I was back here or doing something, he would mention, that always would come across his mind here. It's like, it almost seems like, you know what, we're gonna throw that out, and he's not even gonna think about that here. It's like, oh, maybe that's kind of why it's like it's making me think of somebody else here, but at the same time, it is Senya though. Matt gave an audible laugh. Yeah, exactly. Let's go swimming. It's cold in there. It won't take long. Oh, okay. I can think of a few things that'll warm you up, buddy. But that wouldn't require water, though. You'd have to go somewhere else for that. The water was surprisingly warm, so indeed we were hardly going to freeze. I sat down at the towel that somebody had left behind and took a deep breath out of the soft night air. Now this was a scene that I seen, a CG I've seen out there a little bit. So I'm pretty positive this is going to unlock something. So that's pretty cool. Her hair looks a little different though, but I like it. Masha lay in front of me and rested her head on my lap. Am I disturbing you? Not at all. I just felt kind of tired. She looked straight into my eyes, but I averted my gaze. Why can't it all be the same as before? How so? Come on. That was a joint decision, But nevertheless, she put her arms around my waist, and I felt even more ill at ease. I like this music. Huh. Why did we come here in the first place? To shoot a movie. I tried to pull it off with a jest. Though, if it wasn't for you, I would have never gone to this college in the first place. We could have already... She sighed. But now, I still think that digging up the past in this context is hardly a good idea. You might think so. As for me, I still think we shouldn't have. But you were the one who wanted it in the first place. I never wanted it. Said Masha resentfully. Oh yeah? So it was me who insisted. Yes, it was you. She turned away but didn't get up on me. You're always like that. You don't like this, you don't like that. Why can't you just adopt a simpler approach to life? Take a look around. It's a splendid summer, it's a beautiful night, we're shooting a remarkable movie. In fact, everything's great. Do you really believe all that by yourself? Her question was indeed one worth asking. I do, kind of. It's not like everything's always ideal. But what's so bad about it? Everything is bad. She seemed ready to burst into tears. This stupid camp, that script of yours. Everything is bad. And you're not a child anymore. You could have already started a family, gotten a job. Hey, we discussed it all like 1,000 times. Yeah? And broke up exactly because of that. Broke up? What? That was your call, mine. Precisely because of your everything is bad attitude. Oh, but you go like everything's great to make up for that. Only fools rejoice about everything around them. I'm not rejoicing. Or rather, I'm rejoicing about things that are worth rejoicing about. I like my work. I find pleasure in films. Do I really? So that means you didn't find pleasure in me? She got up and leaned against my chest. Maybe we shouldn't. What's the matter? Don't you want to? I couldn't make up my mind on how I should reply. On the one hand, I didn't want to open old wounds, but on the other hand, I clearly understood that I'm not in a position to refuse. And by now, I didn't care if someone who might not be sleeping might see us. But why? What comes after? Who cares? Well, in that case. The gleaming moonlight reflected in the water droplets on her bare skin, the sticky sand, the chill of the summer night, and the heat of her body. Heavy breathing and gasp with pleasure, everything passed in one brief moment. So they fucked on the beach. Okay, so I'm gonna guess they got this is gonna get off screen here. Guess it's time to sleep. It's gonna be a rough day tomorrow. Olga will definitely push us hard. I was slowly buttoning my shirt as I watched Masha dressing. I don't want to sleep alone, she murmured quietly. What, afraid of the grasshoppers? It's not the grasshoppers, it's the crickets, and I'm not afraid of them. She averted her gaze and blushed a little. It's just, well, unusual. She might have gotten used to it, but given the amount of time, I suddenly thought that there's nothing wrong with this idea, especially given everything that happened. Okay, but where? Masha gave me a questioning look. There are a couple of unoccupied cabins reserved for further seeds. Lord. Well, we could use these for props for a while, I guess. Let's go. She smiled, got up, took my arm, and we slowly headed to the square. Okay. An irresistibly blinding morning glare struck my eyes, so this is where I'm going to call it part. But interesting stuff back there, I gotta say. But like I said, it's getting interesting, but there are parts, like I said, that a little confusing at times, I will admit. But it's probably the way that I'm reading it also, since it's when you come into something kind of blind first time, you never know how you're going to react to something, but it's definitely different from all the other routes that I've seen so far. That's kind of a good thing. Semya's part though, like reading Semya's dialogue is the part that kind of gets me a little bit because I'm used to his name just being Simeon, and it's like when they just refer to him as me, it's like you're telling me this is completely somebody else, It's like just give me your damn name, and then there's Slavia, Sasha. It's like, oh well, so. But at least we're getting the true Miku here, as opposed to the Miku we got early on in the game, in the end. So we're getting to see a different personality. But it almost seems like I said, it almost seems like they did some forwarding a little bit. Like these two kind of got to know one another. So when did they just start dating after a certain period? I don't know. That's kind of interesting because they're always supposed to be in this camp for like a week or whatever it's supposed to be. But maybe it's because Miku's route is different than the rest. Maybe it plays out a little different. But so I'm curious to see where it's gonna go. So far so good. So all right, guys. So have a good one.